Tired of bloating, fatigue and sluggish digestion? Meet your gut's new best friend, NutraHealth 365's microbiome supplement. Restore balance, boost immunity, and feel amazing from the inside out. Smart delay release capsules. Real results. Gut health just got personal.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Thursday's episode of Trending. I hope you're well. Hope you're having a good week wherever you are in the world. Right, let's dive into a really fascinating story today, which won't come as a shock to many people that have been doing research into what the ultimate agenda is and how all these different factions fit together. Keir Starmer to turn the UK into an open-air prison with facial recognition technology matched to passports. Now, this is something that in certain countries, China being the major one, is already in. You can see exactly what that means for people. It means essentially an end to freedom. And it's coming to the UK under this government, according to this story, or they're going to try and bring it. That's the key word. Resistance isn't futile. They're going to try. Doesn't mean they're going to succeed. They only succeed if we acquiesce. But imagine every village, every town, every city in Britain where every step you take is watched. Sting will be pleased. Every face you pass is scanned and matched with passport photos. Add on to that digital identification, which would probably replace passports because, they'd essentially be doubling up. Police across Britain could be granted access to the National Passport Database as part of a wide-ranging plan to expand facial recognition technology across every city, town and village across the country. Under Labour's proposals, officers would be able to match images of suspects caught on CCTV, doorbell cameras and dash cams with photographs contained in government databases, including the 45 million passport records currently held by the state, as well as immigration files. Now, they say this will obviously prevent crime, this will make the streets safer, this will make everybody sleep a little bit better knowing that things are much more under control. Well, it's very simple for me. Freedom is the ability to be free. If you don't have that basic right, whether that be the freedom of speech, the freedom to express yourself in the way you choose, then you've lost it. You've lost that freedom. You've lost that basic right. We've already seen the attacks on freedom of speech in the UK and people being arrested and spending times in jail for using certain language, for not using certain language, for saying silly things on Facebook, which, were probably silly things to say, but there was no real world harm. Yet people at the same time are being released early from prison when they've committed actual violent crimes. People have been released on accident that have committed actual violent crimes. So we've already seen the attacks on freedom of speech. And now we're going to see the attacks on freedom of movement, freedom of everything. They don't want that. They want to track you every single second of your life. Every single day, everything you do, every time you walk down the street, every time you go into a shop, every time your kids go into school, every time you drive your car. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know what you're wearing. All of it. They will know all this information. Now, some people will look and go, well, the streets aren't safe. We've got a growing crime problem. There's there's more burglaries, there's more break-ins, there's more violent crime, there's more stabbings, there's more mugging, all of these things. And yeah, you're right, there is. And they will obviously use that as a sales pitch for why this technology is needed and how this is going to make the streets safer, how this is going to make everybody sleep a little bit better at night. But what it's actually going to do is it's going to give all of your data and all of your freedom to the hands of a bunch of corrupt criminals who have done nothing but abuse the power that we have given to them for millennia, really, when you look at authority, but certainly in the last couple of years with this particular Labour government and previous ones, they have done nothing but abuse that power. They don't have any consideration or care for the people they are meant to represent. So knowing that, why do you think this technology would be in our interests? It's not going to be in our interests. It's in their interests. They only do things which are in their interests and the cult's agenda's interests. If they're trying to sell you something, the sales pitch they are using is exactly that, a sales pitch. It's not the real reason. It's the story that they think they can sell that will get you to say yes. It's not the story that's the actual truth behind why they are rolling something out. You can apply that to, well, pretty much everything. The budget, we're being sold the story that this is bringing children out of poverty, pulling on the heartstrings of people that obviously most people naturally would not want children to grow up in poverty. But that's not what this is about. This is actually about creating more poverty, because more and more people that are just about getting by at the moment are not going to be able to anymore. More and more small businesses that are functioning and just about scraping by week on week, month on month, they're not going to be able to anymore. And also it creates a divide, as I mentioned in the post-budget episode I did on Friday. It creates a massive divide between people on benefits and people not, who think they're paying for the people on benefits. There's more and more reasons that's done. You're sold a sales pitch that you can look at and go, okay, getting kids out of poverty, I support that. Of course I support that. So, we'll get on with it. But it's not the reason. In the same way now, they are going to sell this, that all this crime, this jungle atmosphere that we have, particularly in the major city centres, that has to stop. And the best way to stop it is to create facial recognition technology so there's accountability and the chance of you getting caught for crimes goes up. That's the sales pitch they will use. It's not the reason they're doing it. They're not putting that there for the benefit of you. What have they actually ever done that's been for the benefit of you? It's always to further the agenda they have. And the agenda that they have is complete technological dystopia. You can't do anything. You can't breathe. You can't sneeze. You can't drop something on the street without them knowing about it. And all of these things, whether it be facial recognition, whether it be digital ID, whether it be the massive, massive overreach and expansion of AI into pretty much every area of our lives, all of those things are connected. They are all leading towards that outcome. That's why it's so important to understand the outcome, to understand the journey they are trying to take us on. Because once you do that, you can see the stepping stones that are taking us towards that. Without that, unfortunately, it just looks like a load of random chaotic events that seem in no way connected to one another. That's so far from the truth. All of these things are absolutely connected to each other. And they're all carefully calculated to take us further and further towards that goal of complete technological dystopia. A technocracy. Everything we are seeing is leading us there. Whether it be the complete incompetence of politicians or the illusory incompetence of politicians. Whether it be people like Farage, who probably is going to be the next Prime Minister, talking about having an appointed cabinet rather than an elected one. Technocracy. And people are going to be more apathetic to that because they're seeing what they are seeing what we have now, which is elected people, and you'll end up with the likes of David Lammy, Yvette Cooper, Liz Kendall, Rachel Reeves, and the incompetence behind all of those people in that Labour front bench. People are going to be more sympathetic and more supportive of industry leaders in whatever being appointed with no accountability. All of those things are connected to one another. And for me, lots of people look at politics as some kind of solution. I don't. I think it can be a vehicle to get information out. I think it can be a vehicle to create conversations, absolutely. But until there's a politician that starts to talk about artificial intelligence and the technological explosion, including digital IDs, including facial recognition technology, including microchips in the brain, all of those things, until you have a politician with any profile talking about that, I'm never going to look at them with any trust. And you look across the political spectrum, whether it's in America, whether it's in Britain, whether it's in other countries around the world, they're pretty much all on the same page when it comes to this. Reform might claim to oppose the digital ID, but then they've got the Britannia card, which is a very similar concept. They're just calling it something different for a sales pitch. So I would expect over the next period to see more and more justification for this facial recognition technology based on increasing crime on the streets, based on the fact that they can find people that have, like this story recently of these prisoners being let out by mistake. If they had this technology, they will claim they could have found them very quickly and they would no longer be a danger to the public. So that's again a sales pitch that a lot of people will get behind. That's a sales pitch that a lot of people would support. Talking about people that are evading arrest, violent criminals, people on the run, all of that, will find them very quickly. Again, all these things will be used as sales pitches. And they will also talk about the fact that this technology is going to be a deterrent because people will not commit crimes in the same way because they know the likelihood of being caught and held accountable for them is increased. All of those things I can understand, and I can understand why people want them. And more importantly, if I can understand that, so can this cult. And that's why they're going to use it as a justification. They quite often, when they have these sales pitches, they will pick on real, actual problems that people fear. People fear immigration. That's why they're using it as a justification for digital ID. People fear safety on the streets. That's why they're going to use facial recognition technology as a way of telling you that you'll feel safer, that the crime will go down. But will it? In the same way that we're told a lot of things that always turn out to be complete fabrication and complete lies. How many more times are we going to fall for the same thing? The hope that this time things will be different. The hope that this time, when they say they're going to do something, when they tell me what I want to hear, they're going to do it. Well, for me, I lost hope a very, very long time ago. Because there's only so many times that you can look at something and take it at face value and go, okay, sounds good, looks good, let's go for it. Without looking behind the curtain and going, okay, but what did you say last week versus what you then actually did? Well, they're not the same thing. What actually does this technology do in terms of increasing your powers, your authority, your ability to control people? We know that they want to clamp down on all forms of dissent, all forms of people who are questioning the state in whatever narrative. You've seen the film V for Vendetta, I'm sure many of you, where people's lives are controlled to the point that every conversation they have is heard by the state. Imagine trying to resist. Imagine trying to fight back if that's what you're up against. And the thing is with this technology is once it's there, it's there. And they can use it and abuse it to control people, to silence debate, to silence questioning, to disappear people that they consider problem. And with this, again, also, with this massive explosion in artificial intelligence and in deep fake technology, if you have this facial recognition technology everywhere, and you have the ability to manipulate it, which deep fakes and others do. And that's just what we see in the public domain. So what do you think exists behind the scenes in the military projects and the secret military intelligence projects? They could frame people for X, Y, and Z. They could create scandals, create things that gets people that are challenging to them out of the way. There's even talk of AI judges. It's so obvious and glaringly obvious, staring us in the face now, where this agenda is taking us, that when you see stories like this now on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, it's just another tick. It's another tick on the road to dystopia. And if we don't push back against it, if we let the sales pitch be something we fall for or something we encourage, then all we're going to see is this technology rolled out more and more and more and more. And by the time we might look around and go, has this got a bit too far now? It'll be in and it'll be too late. We live in a very, very crucial time. We live in a very, very exciting and dangerous, but also opportunistic time in human history where I don't think the world is going to change more. Sorry, I don't think the world's changed more than it will in the next 5 years. I think the next 5 years will dictate the future, will certainly go a long way to dictating the direction of it. And I don't think we're going to see changes as big as we will see in either direction ever before. If we can stand firm and we can push back and we can say enough and we can start reversing some of these draconian measures, we're going to see huge changes right across the world. If we don't and we see them and allow them continue to roll out this technology, well, 5 years' time takes us to 2030, and we know what Agenda 2030 is. All those sustainable and development goals, all of which will take more and more control out of the hands of the people and into the hands of states around the world. I don't think that will happen because I don't think deep down we will allow it to happen. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park, but I think we have an opportunity now to really make a stand and really make a difference. And in order to do that, we need to put down fault lines. We need to put down lines of division. We can accept that we can disagree on certain things, but we're going to agree and have some unity on this one, because it doesn't matter about all those other things we're arguing about. If we let this one come in, it's going to screw us all and all of our families and all of our future generations. And once this is out, and once we've started to reverse and unpick some of this, then we can go back to arguing about minor details. Until that's done, let's put down some fault lines and let's just get on, for goodness sake. Let's work as a team. Some of the greatest, to use the simple analogy to finish this part, some of the greatest sporting teams in the world contained bunches of people that on a social level couldn't stand each other. But when they went on that pitch, they worked together to achieve the end they all wanted, which was to win. Now, I want to win. I want to feel that we have made an impact. We've made a difference. We've changed the course of history. We've changed the course of the future. I've got young children. I don't want to see the world that we're seeing today in terms of what it's going to look like for them when they're my age. I don't care about a few minor differences in opinion if we work together to bring that change about. So the question is, do you want to win? Or do you want to be glorious in defeat and end up in the position that we were going to end up anyway? I don't. And I think the only way to win is for some unity. Doesn't mean we have to agree on everything. We're never going to do that. The world would be a dull place if we did. But it means we can agree on this. This has to stop. And it doesn't stop until we start working together. Well, thank you for tuning in with me on YouTube and Twitter. If you head over to iconic.com, you can watch the rest of this morning's episode. We're going to talk about Eric Adams, congressman in America. We're going to talk about the delaying of more elections here in the UK. And we're going to talk about business rates here in Britain as well. I'll see you over there. Link in the description.